special, but it also makes it incredibly difficult to sell all of the different types of people. Because what turns one person on is going to turn another person off. Now, we've all taken the personality assessments, I'm sure. How many here? Raise your hand. Anybody taken? Yep. Okay. Has any of that helped your business? Has any of that gotten you more sales? Probably not, right? I mean, it's interesting and you find out a lot about yourself, but do you find out about the people that you're working with or the people that you want to work with? Does it ever give you any information on them? You could guess. There's ones on, gems, and there's different animals, and there's all different ones. But they never actually give you the information about the prospect that you're talking to. So what I'm going to show you is mind-blowing, right? Is actually going to show you that you can break a code of your prospect and know exactly who you're talking to in less than 90 seconds. Now, the system I'm going to show you is called BANK. And BANK stands for the 4 different personality types. The first one is blueprint, which blueprint people like stability and structure and planning, processes, predictability, responsibility, duties, rules, credentials, titles, and traditions. So how many of you in here, and I'm going to put it on view so I can see you all, how many in here have to have a plan, or they have to have a system in place? They follow the rules. They have to have a list when they go to the grocery store. Do I have any blueprints in here? Anybody who needs a list, a system? Anybody? Nope, no blueprints. Maybe we might have a blueprint down here. Robin might be a blueprint. Okay, let me go through the other ones, right? We'll figure it out. Okay, action people. They're your movers, your shakers, your millionaire makers. They're like little firecrackers in your hand, right? They come up to you and they're like, they just drank a Red Bull for breakfast. You're like, wow, where does this person get their energy? They are your action movers, right? They're your entrepreneurs. How many people in here like freedom, flexibility, spontaneity, action, opportunities, excitement, attention? Oh, I got one down there, Bridget. Oh, Dennis, we're there. Oh, Michael, I know you're there, right? Stimulation, competition, winning, fun, and image, okay? These people are completely outside of the box. When they think they're outside of the box, your blueprints are inside the box. They don't like to go outside that box. If you are late, do you think a blueprint is going to like that? If you show up for an appointment late, no way. You actually could lose the deal because you're late. Blueprints will show up 20 to 30 minutes early. They want to make sure they don't hit traffic. They want to make sure that nothing unexpected has happened so that they get there on time. Your action people, they're late to the party. They are the party. They're like, I don't care if I'm late. I'm everything. Right? Yeah, right? You don't care. Okay, so they're outside the box. And then you have your nurturers. Your nurturers, they have the heart of gold. They've recycled the box, right? They care about everyone. Yes, Michael, big hugs. They're going to greet you. They're going to give you a big hug. They're going to hold on to you. And some of you people, sometimes when you get that hug, you're like, oh my God, they're never going to let go. And then they do. But they love you. They're your people who are in the front lines. They're doing the work to help and make this world a better place, right? They don't care about the money. They don't care about the image. All they care about is helping people. Where are my nurturers? I know I have some in here. Oh, Michael, you're there. Yes. Oh my gosh. Oh, we got Robin. Oh, Bridget. Am I going to say your name right? Ancor. Is that right? I got it? Okay. Gary, were you a nurturer? Chris, did I see your hand? Okay. Now keep in mind, everybody has a bit of all of these in them, but it's how it shows up that's important. So now we have your knowledge. I know I have knowledge that's in here. You need the data and the logic, the learning, the intelligence, self-mastery, technology, research and development, science, universal truths, expertise, competence, accuracy, and the big picture. So who in here thinks they're smarter than everybody else? Come on. Yeah, that's because you have nurture in you. But your knowledge people are super intelligent, but they need to have all the facts. You can't close a deal with a knowledge person. Why? Because they have to close it themselves. They can't be wrong. They have to do the research and figure it out. They're going to ask you the questions, but you got to present to all four of these people. Do you think in the same way or in a different way? Completely different way. What you're going to present, and here's what happens. You're going to present in your own code. And you're going to assume that that's how that person wants to receive the information. But that's not the case. You have to know who that person is, because I've had blueprints and knowledge people completely talk me out of buying something. I'm an action nurturer, blueprint knowledge, and I am ready to go. Give me the information, I'm in. And if they go on too long and they give me too much information and they drag it out and ask me questions, I'm out, I'm done. So they lost the sale. And at that point, like, I don't really want to meet with them again. I like them as a person, but I don't want to sit through that presentation again. Insurance, I've sat down and had somebody try to sell me insurance, and I've literally stopped them because I really liked them. And I was like, listen, time out, please. Get to the bullet points, tell me the information that's important, and let's move on. And it's kind of like when someone calls you on the phone and they're giving you their thing and you interrupt them and they got to start all over again. And you're like, oh no, what did I just do? When you're presenting to an action person, they want fun, they want excitement, they want image, they want to feel like they're the most important thing in the world, and they're all about money, right? Okay, here's the crazy part. I thought there was something wrong with me. I thought I had ADD or whatever, but no, it's because I'm in action. But here's the other interesting thing. I can go into a store and it doesn't matter what it is. I was looking at screen doors. They all look exactly the same. There's no prices, like you were right there on the screen door, right? I'm looking at the screen doors. I pick out the most expensive screen door. How is that possible? I do it with everything. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be a damn dog toy, okay? It's a problem, but that's how I show up. Your blueprints are focused on budget. They need to have a budget, and they don't want to go outside that budget. It's inside the box. Your knowledge people will spend money if it makes sense. It has to be logical, and they have to have all the research behind it. And your nurturers, if it's going to help, they're going to do it. So do you see how important it is to have the right presentation? If you are in front of people and you don't know who you're presenting to, if you touch all the four personalities, you're going to resonate with all of the people. So the technology that I have is super amazing, because I can actually go in, decode emails, text messages, voice messages. I can go, there's a Google LinkedIn extension. I can hit a button and decode somebody's LinkedIn profile. And it's saved in my BCRM. It has all their contact information, and it has their code. So I know exactly who I'm talking to before I talk to them. But what else is cool is we actually decoded President Trump's 4th of July speech. Okay, and his writers hit 3 out of 4 of the codes. Who thinks they can guess what code they missed? Keep in mind, a lot of people say he's stupid, he doesn't make any sense. They completely missed the knowledge. His writers only communicated to these 3 codes: action being the first, nurturing being the second, and blueprint, just a tad blueprint. So then we went in and decoded a CNN article. And that CNN article matched all 4 codes, completely equal across the board. They hire people, code breakers, the company that I work with, to train their writers to match all 4 codes. So what would it do for your business if you were able to actually target who your perfect avatar was? What about your Facebook posts? What if you could look at it and say, oh, you know what? I really need an action on my team. That could really make a huge difference for me. And you focused and targeted that specific market. What if you wanted a nurturer? Now you're all in the health and wellness, so it doesn't matter if you sell vitamins or makeup or cars or real estate. It doesn't matter if you're a trainer, a coach, a teacher. Who doesn't want to communicate better with people? When I started this program, it blew me away because I found out what codes my kids were, who are 17 and 19 now. If I would have known their codes when they were little, it would have completely changed everything for me. And this is just one example of how it's little things in life that cause a lot of tension. Okay? Me and my daughter go on a trip. I'm in action. I pack the morning of. I'm putting the stuff in the car. I'm running late. She's a Blueprint Knowledge. She's been packed for a week in advance. She's waiting at the door a half an hour before we go. I'm irritated because she's standing there looking at me and I'm like, I'm getting it together. And we've already started an argument before we even left the house. We get on the trip. I plan nothing. And all I hear is, what are we doing? What are we doing? When are we leaving? What are we doing? And I'm like, oh my God, we're on vacation. Just relax. Well, they can't because their anxiety is through the roof because there is no plan, right? When they were little, we'd go into the toy store. I would push every button on the shelf and get the toys going. I'd be riding the bicycle, right? And this child would be in a complete meltdown, like the world has ended. And I was like, now it makes sense. Blueprints like rules. They follow the rules. Your blueprints are going to be your police officers, your military. They like that. I broke every rule in the toy store. I was like, at this point, the worst person who ever existed. But at the time, I didn't realize if I would have known that, I would have been like, oh my gosh, I would have never in a million years broke the rules. So what would it be like if your clients, if you knew how you could serve them better? If you're a coach and you want to help that person, whatever it is they're trying to deal with, if you know that they're knowledge-based, you have to treat them completely different than you would treat a nurturer. Nurturers and knowledge are on two separate sides of the category, but they're opposites and they usually attract, which at first is great because the knowledge person is like the nurturer. You're so caring, you love so much, you have so many friends. The nurturer looks at the knowledge person and says, you're so smart, you take care of everything. And then give them a couple of years. And the knowledge person is like, why are you so needy and you talk so much and you always want attention? And the nurturer is like, you don't care about me. You don't love me anymore. You never tell me you care. But now all of a sudden, you're like, wow, this makes sense. And the same thing goes with the action in the blueprint. My boyfriend's a blueprint. I'm in action. At first, we were like, yes, this is so exciting. I'm like, he's so responsible. He got milk in the fridge. He's paying the bills. Like, wow. And he's looking at me like, wow, you're so exciting. It's so fun and everything's great. And then 11 years later, he's like, wow, you never slow down and you just go off on a spare of the moment and just do your thing. And you went and bought a Jeep for no apparent reason. There was no plan. There was no budget. You just went and bought a Jeep. Like, what is wrong with you? And I'm looking at him and I'm like, you're no fun. You don't do anything fun. You have a list for a grocery store. I used to entertain him. He'd be like, do you have a list? We have to go to the store. And I pretend to write a list. And then we get to the store and he'd be like, where's your list? Like, I don't have a list. It's in my head. And then we get home and he'd be like, you forgot the milk. And I'd be like, what do you expect? I didn't have a list. So now I know that. So now I literally will make a list just to appease him because I know that those are one of the things that makes him nuts. So do we have any questions so far? Yes, Robin.
Okay, I love this. This is just a game changer. This is wonderful. But I am both a strong nurturer and a strong knowledge.
Yes.
So it's like this, I nurture, but I got to have the facts too. So am I kind of like a split personality?
No, absolutely not. So here's what's great. Everybody has all four of those codes inside of them. It's how they show up. So we do like assessments to find out how high each one is. Like my action's a 25 and my nurturing's a 24. So you teeter. So I'm sure yours are very close and you teeter between the two depending on the situation. And what's even more interesting is how your third code shows up is your stress code. So it would be interesting to find out what your third code is, because when you're under stress, you move to that third code. So it is completely normal, and that's how we all are, but it just depends on the situation. Now, your day-to-day routine, you show up as a nurturer, right?
Right.
So that's your main code.
Or both of those. I mean, they're fairly even. And definitely blueprint is my stress one. Okay. When I'm under stress, I want to know, I want to plan.
Right. And that's my stress code. I show up, I'm organized, I'm all together, I have a list, and I would love to give any of you a free one-on-one call, and we can.
Oh, she's phenomenal. Do it. Just do it. Yeah.
Who else has? Yes, Chris. I'll get you next, Michael.
Yeah. I've actually gone to this training already. I was with Sherry, and I think and her partner Esther. This stuff is amazing. Really take her up on her offer with it, because I discovered, like, I already knew I was a K, but it was those other ones that I really didn't understand. And so my last one is A, like action wise. So as I've become aware of it, now I've been able to focus and bring that action side out of me. And then I was able to figure out with my wife, she was obviously a blueprint. And so now that whereas before that need to plan drove me nuts, now I respect it. Now I understand that she needs that. So I'm like, here, honey, do you want to plan? Let's go. Like I try and give that to her, that opportunity. So she wants to do something, like, here, why don't you plan it? And she's so excited that she has that opportunity. So once you really understand people that you're talking with, it makes such a big difference. Definitely look into this, because you'll learn a lot about yourself, and then you'll understand, other people that you never quite understood. Now you're able to get along with them because now you know what their trigger points are, and it just makes things so much easier.
Thanks, Chris, for sharing. Sherry Tree and Esther are amazing. Yeah, that's awesome. When did you go through the training?
3 years ago. I flew out to California for that. I forgot the name of the place. It was like near Anaheim. But
okay.
Yeah, so it was really fun.
And it's really crazy because there's so much more to it than just cracking your code, because you're diving in and you're increasing your levels in business intelligence and emotional intelligence, spiritual intelligence, and you're transforming you into a master high performer in communication, in sales, and in your life.
And I know there's things that they've upgraded in the last 3 years. They've added a lot more to it, and I need to look into that because it's really cool. So go ahead. I don't want to interrupt anymore.
Thanks, Chris. Michael, what was your question?
Well, it kind of fled me, but when Robin described you, she used 2 words. What were those 2 words? You remember, Robin?
When I described Michelle?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Was that today?
Yeah, just now. I mean, you said something that would have been a great name for her company. I heard it. And then
Michelle, do you remember?
Yeah, that's okay.
I'm so enthusiastic about Michelle.
Yeah.
I mean,
thank you.
I said it's a game changer. She's a game changer.
That is a great name for a company.
It really is. It
game changer. I like that. So I'm always thinking, beyond the box, like you said. So Michelle and I, we share the same codes, because when I hear her talk about her life, I hear my life just exactly. My daughter, my spouse, everything is so similar. So those are the connections, those are the codes that just makes life so exciting,
And it does. And that's why, so when you meet someone who's your same code, you hit it off. They know, like, and trust you right away, because you guys have the same core values. And that's what this is based off of, is the core values. And that is what changes everything, because you're opening up your heart and you're actually hearing people. You're not just listening and pretending, you're actually hearing them. Because once you understand their values, you're focused in on them and how you can serve them better and how you can help them better. And that changes everything, no matter what your occupation is. I mean, heck, as a parent, it would have literally changed everything. I have 2 kids that are high functioning in the spectrum, 2 completely different kids, but it would have helped me so much, because I was a single mom dealing with kids when, I mean, even normal kids that have, and I shouldn't say normal, but even kids that aren't in the spectrum who have meltdowns is tremendous. But you escalate that with one that has sensory issues, it's like nothing. I mean, I used to have to sit on the floor and just hold him with my feet over his legs because I was afraid he was going to hurt himself, because that's how bad the tantrums were. I mean, and we could be in the middle of a hotel. And, you know, knowing this would have changed everything, because I would have presented things differently for him that he would have been able to grasp and understand, instead of flying off the handle and taking it the wrong way. And one of the things that one of the people in the group that I was in said that, so the dad was an accident and the child was a blueprint. And it was the same thing about him being late. They were off to a ball game, and the child, they were getting ready, he was running late, and the child looked at him and said, "You're a liar." And the dad said, I haven't lied to you. I never lied to you. What are you talking about? And the little boy said, "You lie to me all the time. You tell me we're supposed to be there at 3:00 and you're never on time. You're a liar." And when I heard that, that opened up a whole nother vision for me, because I was like, oh my gosh, something that simple that you do on a day-to-day basis can completely affect the other person without you realizing what kind of impact it's having on them. I mean, that's huge. For him to think that his dad was a liar because he ran late, to us, who's not a blueprint, we're like, oh, that's no big deal. But to them, that's a huge deal. And it's the same thing when you're dealing with any human being. And that's what those values impact. That's what it shows. It doesn't matter how little you think something is. To that other person, it's a big deal.
And being a blueprint, like my daughter's a blueprint, part blueprint, and she still holds Christmas against me because I lied about Santa Claus. I mean, she gets upset because she went to school, she found out Santa Claus wasn't real. I'm like, I'm still a liar.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm still a liar.
And that's how these values, that's how important these values are to each different code.
Wow.
That's why with the program, we dive into all of that. It's a 12-week course, and we dive into all of the intelligences to open you up to see those different values for those different personalities and how it affects them, and how your communication with them, improving that and actually hearing what they're saying and actually realizing that those values matter, it increases you as a person. This is something you'll never, ever not use. You'll use it for the rest of your life. And it's, once you learn it, you can't unknow it. Like, I mean, I'm going to be honest, I was breaking my dog's codes, and I did too. My one dog, no, seriously. For just like, what? No, really. Like, you start looking at things and you're like, oh my gosh, well, my one dog is a hyperactive spaz that sees a bunny and freaks out. She's in action. There's no question about it. Where my other one, I mean, she barely moves and nothing gets her excited. And well, she's not very loving. So she's pretty much a blueprint. Maybe knowledge. I don't know. I haven't figured that one out yet.
Michelle, I think Dennis had a question.
Yes, Dennis. I'm sorry, I couldn't see you. The chat was blocking you.
I hope I get the question phrased properly. But I deal with a lot of people in hypnosis that actually are progressing from a, kind of a destructive negative pattern into a very positive pattern. But also, if we take the microcosm here of high performers, my question is this: can those numbers for each category change as someone improves themselves and find that they end up with a whole different series of numbers that you have to reevaluate?
Absolutely. So what we do in the beginning of the program is take an assessment in all of those areas. And at the end of the program, we reassess. And yes, and you're actually seeing the progress of the growth in each area. And what's really interesting is emotional intelligence is more important than IQ. Okay. So all of these Fortune 500 companies are actually pouring all this training into emotional intelligence because it's so important to be able to connect with people. So yes, to answer your question, there is, we do assess all of them from beginning to end, and to see the growth is really amazing, because and you can see it in the person. So it's not just in the numbers, you can physically see it in each person in their growth. The people that I went through the original coaching course with, they were completely different by the end of the class.
Interesting.
Wow. Oh my goodness, Michelle. This was just, I have to say, not only educational, but totally entertaining. The way you present it, the examples you use. Thank you. This has been phenomenal. I just wanted to say, like, what was really striking me is, like, yeah, the ability to figure out your family first, right? And logically, that's where you should start applying this, you know, and no matter what, whether it's your dog, whether it's your kids, your spouse, because look, if we can get our households in order, we're creating the foundation for the rest of the society, right? So, I mean, the most important work we ever do starts in the four walls of our home. And I love that we can crack the codes of our family and start there to build this foundation. So I just want to say thank you. I'm just overwhelmed. There's so many questions I could probably ask, and I'm definitely going to be studying this stuff. So can't wait to connect with you more on it.
Awesome. And for my knowledge people out there, there is white papers from San Francisco University. There is white papers from Mercedes-Benz. There's so many different studies. And Harvard, they asked Sherry to speak at Harvard and Google Corporate. She trained this, and she also got asked to speak at the United Nations, which was amazing. And they tested the AI. So there's all kinds of science behind why bank actually predicts buying behavior.
Doesn't Les Brown endorse it too?
Les Brown, yeah, he said it is a game changer for all businesses. Yeah, she's trained with Tony Robbins, Les Brown, Kim and Robert Kiyosaki, and Branson, the billionaire, Sir Branson.
Richard Branson?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, if any of you want to set up a one-on-one with me, I would be happy to talk to any of you. And I thank you so much for letting me present today.